Am I really that much? And breaking these niggas down like a demo. You don't really know you are.
Hi, I'm Lorna. I'm a doula in Los Angeles, California. And with this being my first video, I just wanted to, make a formal video introducing myself because I forgot to do that at the beginning. But because I'm kind of going through like a story time in this video, I just wanted to tell you guys who I am and about my journey and how becoming a Black birth worker has been the best decision I've ever made in my life. And I hope that this inspires you. And yes, get to know me on my journey. Like, follow, and subscribe. There will be more videos to come about all things birth. So, it's coming up on 6 years that I've been a doula. I had kind of decided that I wanted to be a doula. I was listening to a podcast by Alex L. She had interviewed Brandy Sellers Jackson, if I'm not mistaken. She was talking about being a postpartum doula, and I was in awe. I had never heard of the term before in my life, never. But what she described had me in awe. Like, I could not believe that you can serve women in that capacity like that. And I was just like, what? Like, I can do that. Like, I can do that. That is, like, who wouldn't want to do that? I literally dove head first. I started looking it up. Of course, we do Google first. So I started Googling. In my Google searches was a lot of white organization. I was just like, where do I start with this? How do I go into any of these spaces and feel safe? Not really knowing what I'm stepping into. You know what I'm saying? So I just start Googling different organizations and things like that. It's just like immediately the universe really started shifting, right? For me when it came to trying to find out about birth work. Of course, my algorithm started working in my favor. So different organizations were coming up that were, either had instructors of color or other doulas of color involved in that organization. So before I could even say, like, I'm gonna join this organization or I want to be taught by this organization, I started going to different events. Because mind you, I still don't know much about doula work or birth work. I barely know anything. I started going to events, listening to other doulas speak. When I finally decided that, okay, I want to be taught by this organization, they had a scholarship for women of color. The first one, they were like, we'll give you half off. But I couldn't even afford that back then. I could not afford half off. Like, it just wasn't working. So I tried again, maybe a few months later. But this time I really put my life story and got chose. So I forgot to mention that when that organization told me that I can get the scholarship, but it would be basically half off tuition, I made a GoFundMe. The GoFundMe ended up only getting like $240 something in it. So I ended up redoing the scholarship application and really put in my life story. And then they gave me it covered. All I had to pay for was a membership. And when I tell you that what was in that GoFundMe was exactly what they asked for. Okay. Get to the class and the instructor was Black. I was just like, oh my God, I'm being taught by a Black. I was relieved I was relieved that I was being taught by a Black woman. So I literally took everything in that she was saying, because something told me to just not take that moment for granted. Just not take it for granted, you know. So when I finally did the doula training, it was January 2019. When that happened, of course, later on, COVID hit. At this point, I think I may have done 7 births. Now, the 7 births, majority of those births were done for to receive my certification. I was very sure that I wanted to be a doula. I was like, I need to write down what I want in this life, you know. So COVID hit, 2020. I made a vision board. Very important. Made a vision board, was very delusional about this vision board. You have to be delusional. You have to be delusional. You have to be. You have to be. You have to trust. On this vision board, 2 things that really stick out to me. Well, mostly everything has come to pass except for 1 thing. But 2 things that stick out to me was I put a busy calendar on there because I wanted to be booked and busy. And another thing that I put on that vision board was me teaching other doulas. And it's just like, girl, how are you going to teach other doulas and you only a year in at this point? Gotta be delusional. You gotta trust. You have to trust. I say all that to say, July of this year, 2024, I was able to walk away from my 9 to 5. I always said that wasn't my forever. The entire time that I was reading, going to these different events, learning from other doulas, I kept saying that that place was not my forever. Where I belong is with Black families. I was able to walk away from my 9 to 5. Not only was I able to walk away from my 9 to 5, I'll be mentoring other doulas really soon. So my friends that I shared my happiness with about being a doula, about wanting to be a doula, they can tell you, like, I was not kidding. Like, I studied outside of book work that was given for the certification program, because I knew, like, this is something that I'm serious about. Like, I want to know what the hell I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? So they can attest to for me and me just jumping head first. And it has been a whirlwind ever since. And it has changed my life. Changed my life. The whole purpose to my entire story is trust. Be delusional about that thing that makes you feel so good. I feel like in the midst of working both. So in 2022, I became a full-time doula while still working a full-time 9 to 5. Okay. And that, I feel like God was just pushing me out of that place. So much started happening. Mind you, before then, I never had any problems at work. Never had problems at work. But I felt like God was making me uncomfortable there because I had overstayed. Overstayed. So be delusional about that dream, but be very serious about that dream. Go for it. God, if it's for you, God is going to literally put everything in your path. You have to get it. You have to go for it. You have to. The way that doula work fell into place for me is something that I just can't even really explain. The way I felt the first time I heard about it, how I started, look at that, how I started was, I really didn't have a lot of money back then. I did not. but I started just investing in myself. And investing in myself was, I would go and listen to doulas speak. I would pay to listen to them speak, because why not? Why not? I bought books. And one thing's for sure and two is for certain, okay? It's going to feel good. It may come with some trials. It won't be perfect. But doing what you love is fun. Plain and simple. I never thought work would be something that I literally enjoyed. Never thought that could happen for me. Never. But it is now. So do what you love. Go for it. Invest in yourself. Do what you need to do. Okay?
Am I really that much? And breaking these niggas down like a camera. You don't really know you are.